Class warfare. But in this case, the enemy is the rich farmer, the so-called coauthor. And Bukharin is tagged as a defender of the wealthy peasant. Bukharin, the number of wealthy farm families, kulaks, is few. And we can allow individual farming without fear of rich peasants. Stalin. But the kulak does not like higher taxes and confiscation that we directed him. Bukharin, of course. But unfortunately, the middle peasant does not like them either. This comrade Stalin has not noticed. But this is the heart of the matter. Stalin. Bukharin is pro-kulak. Bukharin, don't pin this pro-kulak label on me. Appear reasonable. Let others do the dirty. Stalin was a master. If you read these transcripts, he appears to be the most reasonable person in the house, always. This is at the end of the uh, 1928 plan. Bukharin is lost. Everyone is turned against him. He has just a few allies left. These meetings are terribly brutal because once you've lost, it's like being thrown to the sharks. And I'll illustrate that in a second. But so everyone is screaming, arrest Bukharin, kill Bukharin. So Stalin says, no, we have to be reasonable. And here's what he says. Although most of you demand it, I'm against the removal of Comrade Bukharin from the Politburo. We should warn him that he will be removed if he violates further decrees of the party. We become better comrades if we do not give in to feelings of indignation. If we leave Comrade Bukharin in office, we let the party know we are not bloodthirsty, and we give him the opportunity to redeem himself if he can. Within 3 months, he's removed very quietly. But this is a particularly potent trick of Stalin, always to appear very moderate. Political defeat is not enough. There must be public humiliation. This is where the public humiliation occurs. This is Sverdlov Hall, Kremlin. It was Yekaterinski Hall. So they named it after Sverdlov. It's now, again, back to its original name. This is where the Central Committee plenums were held. Bukharin was called in for the February 37 plenum. There had already been executions of high party officials. There had been 2 show trials. So he pretty much knew he was done for. So he was called in to the Central Committee meeting. He decided his only weapon is a hunger strike. So he goes on a hunger strike, informs Stalin, I'm not even coming. I'm going to starve to death. He's somehow convinced to show up. So he shows up and he walks down this aisle here. But he's too weak, so he collapses. And here's the dialogue when he collapses. So as he entered Sverdlov Hall, he sank to the floor, unable to walk to his seat. Stalin walked over to him. Stalin, so who did you tell about your hunger strike, Nikolai? Just look at yourself. You've wasted away nothing. Ask the plenum to forgive you. Bukharin, why should I ask forgiveness? I'll be expelled anyway. Stalin, no one's going to expel you. Nearby delegate, come on, Nikolai, beg forgiveness. You did such a bad thing. Here's the humiliation. And I'm only going to read one thing because when I read this, that's when I decided to write the book. I saw this first and I said, I have to write a book. You can imagine, this is the equivalent of a joint session of the House and Senate. And here is former Speaker of the House making a statement. So this statement calls it. So they're on his back about this hunger strike. Bukharin, and I'll continue my hunger strike. It's my only option. It's impossible to live. I cannot shoot myself, because then they'll say I committed suicide to harm the party. But if I die, it's from a disease, what would you lose from this? So you can imagine someone standing up and saying, I can't shoot myself, so I'm going to die from a hunger strike. Voice, because a stenographer would capture these voices. Curse that tongue of yours. You should think about what you say. Bukharin, but understand how difficult it is for me to live. Stalin, and is it easy for us? Here's the humiliation. They made a big joke of the hunger strike. Molotov. Only 2 days have passed since Bukharin declared a hunger strike. And he came here and declared, I've not eaten for 4 days. Bukharin is a comedian, a small provincial actor. Do true revolutionaries carry out hunger strikes in this fashion? This is the act of a counter-revolutionary, Stalin. We don't have a count. How many days has he fasted? Molotov. He said the first day he fasted 40 days, and 40 nights, the second day 40 days and 40 nights, and then every day thereafter 40 days and 40 nights. Stalin. Thank you. Why did he begin his hunger strike at midnight? Molotov. I think people don't eat at night. Their doctors don't recommend it. So here they are. This guy is having great trouble even standing on his feet. These are his former friends. And the fact that he is trying to starve himself to death is high humor. Caving in does not help. Note for foreign leaders. So you don't want to look in Putin's eyes and see if you can see something there. You don't want to be nice because this is what happens. This is something I'll skip. But Bukharin decided, well, I've lost. Let's see if I can live. Maybe I can live if I am 100% obedient. Bukharin, among other things, was a poet. So he sent this poem to Stalin and asked, can I publish? And I'd like to read you the poem. Trumpets sound of the times, and the loud cry resounds. Lead us in the new battle, now that the enemy attacks. And he wisely looks into the distance with a searching gaze on the army of the enemy, the great Stalin. Stalin never answered this letter, so this poem remained unpublished. Rewrite history as you want it to be. This is the March 38 show trial, where Bukharin was the prime defendant. And I'm not going to say anything like that. I'm just about it. I'm just going to show you Stalin's edit of Bukharin's final statement. And in his final statement, he withdrew his confession and revealed the whole thing is a sham. There is a published transcript of the trial, which was published around 3 months after the trial. It doesn't say anything about this. And we actually have found Stalin's edit of Bukharin's actual statement. And I'll show you the edit. No, there it is. So just about everything was redacted. His final statement is very interesting, by the way. All your enemies are agents and spies of foreign forces. I think you'll see this among virtually all dictators. And I'll just read a little bit of Vyshinsky's opening statement at the Bukharin trial. The language is rather colorful. The defendants have committed the vilest, most abominable crimes as the bestial face of international brigands and slaves of intelligence services. They are a pack of hangmen and underground assassins, the lowest creatures ever known in the history of mankind. The entire country demands one thing: shoot the plotters as foul dogs, crush the accursed vipers. The years will pass and the graves of traitors will be overgrown with wild weeds and thistles, while bright rays of our sun will shine over the fatherland. A moderate language. True believers are the most dangerous. I would like to read, this is Anna. She's in her 80s. It's 1986, and under her door is delivered a letter written by Nikolai 50 years earlier. And here's the letter. And I underlined what I think is important. So basically the letter begins, this is January 1538, delivered 50 years later. So he says, don't believe anything you hear. If I confess, don't believe it. But what I've underlined is this: don't feel malice about anything. Remember that the great cause of the USSR lives on, and this is the most important thing. Personal faiths are transitory and wretched by comparison. So Stalin has killed a true believer, probably someone who's more of a true believer than he is. Kommunarka. This is where Stalin buried all his prominent victims. So this is where Bukharin is buried. I don't think the bodies have been exhumed, but say about 1,000 bodies of very prominent people are there. And he was rehabilitated, but that's part of the book. I wanted to stop here and see if you have any questions. I can't see the clock because of the balloons, but I hope someone will have some questions. Yeah, okay. Anybody? Oh, that's right. I'll stand right here.
Hi, I'm Arlene Diamond. I have two quick questions. One, do you know Gloria Duffy?
No.
Okay, and two, is Molotov cocktail from this guy Molotov you've been talking about? Is that what Molotov cocktail? Okay, thanks.